Good morning, Astrologer family. It is Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific time. My name is Teri Hunter, and I'm here with Angels in Astrology. We're coming up into what I think is a very busy season, not just Christmas-wise and holiday-wise, but astrologically. And today, what I want to focus in on is the first of 3 Venus-Pluto conjunctions in Capricorn. I know the Uranus-Saturn square has been the theme of 2021. And for me, this very much plays in some sort of concert with that. Because as I was meditating this morning, I felt very strongly that while Venus and Capricorn can rule our money, Pluto can rule money. And I think this is could be a highly likely probability for many people. I also want to offer it this way because money is a vibration of value, self-value, confidence, and a physical expression, really, of your ability to create and what you believe about that. So I believe what's happening as Venus has been traversing Capricorn, she's slowing her roll because she's about to go retrograde, I believe around the 19th. And then as she comes forward again, she's going to meet up with Pluto. So this is going to happen 3 times. And I feel like what's happening is Pluto is saying, what are you pretending not to know about the powerful creator that you are? What are you pretending not to know, Venus, about your skills, about the history and the transformation of your own personal story? And I feel like Pluto's not trying to pull the rug out from underneath us, but rather take us to new levels of happiness. And one of the major questions is, what is your level and ability to receive? And when I say that, I feel I'm talking about the laws of attraction. You know, whatever you focus on grows, whether it's for your happiness or otherwise. And then the next level of co-creation is really the law of allowing, our ability to receive. So what I think is happening over the next few months, because Venus is going to hang out in Capricorn until March of 2022. While all that's going on, we're going to see our our Uranus-Saturn square towards the end of the year, which is going to blow up some old ways of thinking. It's going to really put a pin in some dynamics that haven't worked for us. And if you've been putting your head in the sand, it may feel very jarring to you. Then at the same time, we have the United States reaching its natal Pluto return on in February. So all these things are kind of becoming puzzle pieces, because as one thing hits, another thing is going to ripple down. So as we experience this first conjunction between Venus and Pluto this week, I think it's asking, am I using my skills in a way that makes me feel purposeful? What am I pretending not to know about my ability to receive my happiness? Am I so used to feeling challenged by Pluto? Am I so used to looking for where the holes are in my life or what hasn't happened yet that I don't take a real inventory of what has evolved, what is working, what has led me to a place of much more peace? I think I've mentioned to you guys a few times in various shows that as I have become more independent in my ability to create money, when I first started working for myself, I thought I wanted to actually amass money. I thought money would be what would make me feel whole and complete and look good to the outside world. And as that has happened, I realized money has nothing to do with how I feel about myself, but rather my freedoms, my ability to choose when I wake up, to choose when I walk my dog, to choose That's what I'm looking for. So I think a lot of that is coming up in this next few months. And I think the idea that this is happening during Capricorn season, because again, we want to think about the idea that, it takes 284 years for Pluto to traverse the zodiac. So there are, and when Pluto entered Capricorn, it was in 2008, the same year the United States elected the first African American president. So there have been layers of this digging deeper and digging deeper all over the place. So this week, I think it's super important for us as Venus, joins Capricorn in an intense conversation to say, where am I holding myself small? Where am I bigger and more powerful than I think I am? And where do I have control? Not because I'm focused on another person, but because I'm aware of my own inner being, my own self-talk, and my choice of taking action on that is where I have control. So that's where I'm going with this. And now I'm going to start in on our readings. As usual, I start at Pisces and work my way towards Aries. Small, I'm not surprised it's quiet. Think about Venus and Capricorn. Capricorn can be a little restrictive. Venus is our femininity. So welcome, William. Welcome, Nikki. So there may be people that are out, taking care of business today, or they may just decide they need a break. I've surrendered to whatever restriction there is right now, because I feel like if indeed there is restriction, or things seem quiet, or they seem like they're not moving, then the universe is giving me a signal to look at the vibration, the frequency, the thought pattern, the belief system. We just had a full total solar eclipse in Sagittarius. So what is my belief system? That's the platform with which I take my action on. So that's what's going on here. All right, here we go. Let's start with Pisces and work our way towards Aries and see what Spirit has to say for us this week. Our first angel in the foundational position is Sonia. The second is Layla. The third is Mystique. And the final is Archangel Raphael. Venus to me also represents our ability to receive. If there is a planet that would represent the law of allowing, I think that would be Venus, because it would be the opportunity for me to see the value in my skills. And rather than worrying about whether other people see the value, it would be an invitation for them to join me. And to realize that the value that I have, whether it be in my skills or my belief system, is ever evolving. So if you really think of it that way, it's not like you have to be perfect at anything. You just have to be willing to ask yourself these questions. What am I pretending not to know? How am I holding myself small? Where am I letting fear paralyze me versus empower me? So Pisces, Sonia is being joined by the butterfly, Neptune. Layla's being joined by the joy card. Mystique is being joined by the queen. And Archangel Raphael is being joined by the owl. So the butterfly is always, sort of this very lofty kind of feeling of transformation when we see a butterfly flew by. Very rarely do we think about the horrific transformation that the caterpillar had to go through to become that butterfly. So this week, and as we go through the next couple of months, and Venus is sitting here asking you, what do you believe about yourself? What do you really believe about your ability to create? Are you going to listen to all the outside stimuli that tells you that things are contracting, that things are becoming less and less? Or are you going to connect with your guides and your angels and continue to show the opposite? Because Pluto rules the transformation. This butterfly could very well be a Plutonian energy. And in the sense that during crisis, there are people who thrive all the time. So where are you going to fall in that perception? Are you going to be sucked into the tidal wave of less? Or are you going to rise up on the wave of more? Because in the opportunity of the obstacle is the joy card, and there is Layla. And I think this is really going to Pisces in a very Neptunian, deep spiritual way to come clean about your ability to sit in your joy. Because in the angel's advice is Mystique saying to keep charging ahead, to expect miraculous solutions. And here is the Queen, the ultimate energy in this deck representing the law of allowing. She isn't stressed. She represents fertility, reception, feminine energy, Venusian energy. And so she understands that there is a process to everything. And that process begins with her attitude or his attitude as we allow for the transformation and for spirit to bring people, places, and situations into your experience that will support the bigger endeavor. Because this isn't about you working alone. It's about you working in tandem and trusting a certain amount of spirit lining things up for you. Because in the final position, Pisces, is the owl. And the owl represents deception and wisdom, two sides to every coin. And I believe this is an opportunity for Pisces to go to that Neptunian place of spirituality where you start to realize that if you never had a challenge, you would not trust the journey of your own empowerment. This is an inspiration that brings healing to you. This coming week, we have Mercury having a square to Neptune. And I believe Mercury is in Sagittarius. And in that, we've got Mercury that rules our everyday mind, okay? In Sagittarius, it may feel slightly uncomfortable because Sagittarius is all about the bigger, broader pictures. And I say this because as you allow for this transformation, you start to see the wisdom of both experiences. What feels challenging is the impetus and the seedling and akin to your empowerment. So as you, rather than continue to go down the road of, oh boy, this is, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, you're looking and you say to yourself, all right, spirit, how is this going to strengthen my muscle? My spiritual muscle, my physical muscle, my financial muscle. All right, let's go on to Aquarius. Rising moon, sun, and stelliums. I'll be right back. I need to check one thing, guys. Hold on. I'm back. Okay. I have my biomat, Lucky's laying on it, and I didn't want it to be too hot to cook. But when it's on a low temperature, he'll just get all those good ions. All right, here we go. Aquarius, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel for Aquarius is Xana, the angel of protection. In our opportunity or our obstacle is Isabella saying, yes, the timing is right for this new venture. We have Mystique again in the angel's advice. And in the final position, we have Seraphina. So I want to offer this because as an Aquarius, now we talk rising moon, sun, and stelliums. If indeed Saturn is hovering over any of your degrees, then you're going to feel a little bit of this tightening, this sort of, Saturn has this interesting energy of sort of this jarring feeling of sort of pulling us under. And I say that because the under feels very emotional. It feels like, like when you start to feel weepy for reasons you don't know why. And then I feel like what Saturn is also doing is saying, stop for a minute. Is that emotion you're feeling current, or is it a habitual feeling? Is there a situation, a person, or a dynamic that you are used to feeling a certain way about versus actually it happening right now? Because Xana is in the foundational position and she represents protection. And then we have the stag. Now, the stag is two things. It's pride and leadership. And this, sometimes we get so used to feeling a certain way that we get stuck in that. We get stuck in that feeling of, you done me wrong, or, whatever the story is. And I'm not going to say that the other party may not perpetrate the same behaviors, but now it's a time for about you. How do you want to reinterpret your life? How can you take whatever pulled you out, pulled you under, made you feel less than, and turn it around to empower you? Because Isabella is saying now is the time is right for this new venture. A happy outcome follows your positive expectation. And Aquarius, the high priestess right now feels like a vision of myself that is outside the box of whatever anybody else thinks about me or what I can achieve. So I really want to offer, this is a good time for you to start to step into your own vision and to continue to focus in on that vision while you're going through this process of unknowing. Aquarius, your two planets, Uranus and Saturn, have been yapping in this conversation all year. We won't even talk about all the challenging things that Saturn was doing when it was in Capricorn. So this has been affecting you, not just for the last year, not just because of the pandemic and all the other things, but for a while now. So now is a time to risk, and you're good at that, Aquarius. You're good to be able to think innovatively, to go out and think, okay, I'm going to break the box, because it's time to really start to put your vision, not maybe not necessarily take direct action, but really start to evaluate what is the platform in how I endeavor what I want for myself. And when I do that, because I feel like anytime anybody starts something for themselves, something new, there's a sense of trepidation, there's a sense of unknowing. Now, that feeling can empower you to get excited about finding out what you can achieve, or it can send you down into that sketchy place of fear. Because we have, in relation to the stag, we have the deer. These are a couple, right? And I think this is about gentleness and diplomacy as you work towards making your life more aligned to what you want, and to know that you're being protected, not because you're in danger, but because Spirit is gently nudging you over and over again to ask you if you're aligned to your vision, to what it is you want for yourself. I've been telling you guys I ordered a new computer. It hasn't showed up yet. And as when I ordered it, Apple didn't charge me right away for it. So then when they actually, ran the thing and I saw the big bill, oh my God, I thought, oh God, this is a lot of money. And at the same time, I had to keep asking myself, if I don't let myself grow, if I don't let myself keep up with the times, am I going to be able to thrive? So I have to take a chance. I have to take a chance on myself. And if anything rules the internet, it's Aquarius. So this is a time to not jump into taking the chance, but to look at the vibration. Am I scared? And if I'm scared, what do I want to do with that fear? Because that fear itself is the very thing that will get you so excited. It's almost like you really cannot achieve without a moment of being scared out of your skin. Anybody, I don't care who you are. Okay, let's go on to our set Capricorns. So as I start to tune into Capricorn, the first thing I think is that the United States natal chart, Capricorn is the second house, and it rules history and money, right? Naturally. And the United States has a stellium in the 8th house of Cancer. And whether we realize it or not, because we're a global community, this opposition that's been going on as Pluto's been transiting the second house of the United States has been bringing up all of these imbalances, because the 8th house naturally is ruled by Pluto. And it's ruling what is in the dark, what is unseen. So I want to offer it this way, because I feel like as a Capricorn, that's a very strong leadership sign. And as you adopt this idea of the baby goat, that the structure that Capricorn loves is totally great. I'm not fighting that. But what I want to do is now align that structure to what I want to experience in the way of my joy. The human has been trained from a very, from eons ago, that we are to please others. And I don't say this because I don't want to please another person, but I feel like if I'm pleasing myself on some level, on many levels, then I can't help but naturally please you because I have a better attitude about things in general. So, Capricorn, this is your opportunity for leadership now. And to sort of give way to Pluto's transformation. And the main question Pluto is asking you, every single one of us, what are you pretending not to know? Are you pretending not to know how powerful you are? Are you pretending not to know that you are an eternal being that came to this planet not to be punished or learn lessons, but to remember all that power? And it isn't power over others. It's the power over my own perceptions, to trust the journey of unknowing, to trust the journey of disruption, what could be called failure or missteps, because you're learning or you're realigning to something. It's never about pulling the rug underneath you. And that's what successful people know. All right, here we go. Capricorn, our first angel is Crystal. She flew out of the deck a moment ago. Whoop. And there we have Serena, the angel of abundance. Oh, I love that. Then we have Archangel Raphael. And then we have Archangel Michael. And as I see Serena, the first thing I think is that, well, the world is going through challenging times and has, more times than not throughout history. As we align to that bigger picture of I am a co-creator through my vibration, not my action. It starts with my being energy, my belief, my attitude. And this is where this Sagittarius eclipse was so awesome, because it really set a tone for allowing, or I guess setting a good landscape for that opportunity to shift my beliefs. Why not me? What if it's my turn? Capricorn, Crystal is saying, or is being joined by the wind fairy. Serena is being joined by Merlin. Archangel Raphael is being joined by the Joy card. And Archangel Michael is being joined by the Novice. So, Crystal talks about having faith in what you cannot see, but this is not a blind faith. Oh, somebody come save me. Where is Lancelot? Fly, ride up on your white steed and take me away. This is about having faith in that your thoughts work for you, as well as in some respects work against you. Worry is a form of prayer that does not serve me. It puts my attention and my intention in the very experience I don't want to have. And people that have been living in lack usually, unfortunately, are focusing in on the lack. They're like, but I don't have the money. This bill is due. That bill is due. Blah, blah, blah. I got to pay for this. Well, all those things may be true. And Capricorn, of course, you're going to want to take care of that. As you realize that my focus is what is actually going to shift my experience. So if I don't have the answer to something, then it is my opportunity, because here's Serena, the angel of abundance. There's Merlin. Merlin talks about abundance as well as justice and balance. So we have Venus, that represents money, in Capricorn, coming up against Pluto, that has a big dynamic with money and power. So now is an opportunity for you truly to sit in that I receive energy. I know that my participation is serenity. I know as the human that when I connect to a bigger picture, I will receive inspired action that will feel almost magical. And in that inspired action, I will feel joy and comforted in knowing that I am the participant of my own abundance. You're not the sole proprietor of your abundance. You're working in concert with a bigger picture. And this allows you to be kind of excited about the inspirations that Spirit is bringing to you. Because in the final position, Capricorn, there's Archangel Michael asking you to have the courage to allow for the new beginning. The new beginning is to get out of your technical mind. And this might be this week when Mercury squares Neptune. That might be a little bit of the technical mind, and be in this law of allowing energy. It's sort of like, like a formula. The law of attraction says that whatever I put my focus on comes to me, whether it's for my happiness or not. And if that is indeed true, then as I put my focus on what makes me happy, or in the neutral zone, meaning I'm not falling on worry, and I'm not falling on false excitement. Positivity can be false energy. It can be a worry in disguise. So I feel like as Capricorn identifies these things and starts to allow the deeper truth of the value of your skills that Venus offers you as she is starting to slow her roll to go retrograde, and Pluto, what are you pretending not to know about your power? Because your power comes from your thoughts, and your thoughts come into the physical world. All right. Let's go on to our Sagittarius' rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Hi, Flamingo. Hi, Juan. Hi, Small Wildflowers. I have not said hello to a lot of you. I think I said hi to Nikki. All right, everybody, here we go. On to Sagittarius, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Sagittarius, our first angel is Chantal. The second is Serafina. The third is Xana. And the final is Caressa. I think Chantal would represent Venus in this particular case. She represents romance. So I'm thinking this is going to be a Venusian energy. Let's see. Chantal is being joined by the cat. Serafina is being joined by the perception card. Xana is being joined by the Lady of the Lake. And Caressa is being joined by the restriction card. There's this interesting thing that happens to the human, at least in my observation. Sometimes when we start to engage with another human and we don't even know if we like them yet, we're kind of thinking, maybe, I don't know. And then they reject us. And the minute we feel the rejection, we start to put a focus on them as if they're something. All that contemplation, all that observation, all that assessment seems to fly out the window. And I feel as if when I look at Sagittarius, the cat represents independence and healthy boundaries. And then I have Chantal saying that a new romance is imminent, or the resurgence of a romance. So I see this as the 9 lives of the cat, but I also see it as starting to really have sort of a cat. Cats kind of get a bad rap because they're very emotional, but if they don't get love back, they leave. They'll find another master, they'll disappear, they'll hide under the bed. A dog will not do that. A dog will have a different way of being. And I think for Sagittarius, this might be about assessing how people are loving you or how you're receiving love. Because Serafina says a happy change is coming to your family. And there's the perception card, William. Because if sometimes when we get triggered because we've been rejected, we stop really looking at the quality of the person we put our sights on, and we start chasing that value, Venus value, because Xana in the angel's advice is saying you're being protected. And there's the Lady of the Lake, which is about courage to really decipher between my brain and my emotions. And I remember years ago, I went through a situation when my cat died. And a gentleman that I'd known for quite many years was very kind to me in that moment. And everything I knew about our incompatibility flew out of my brain, and I sort of attached myself to this person because of his kindness. Now, he wasn't very interested in me that way, but we did a little dance for a while. And I started to go through a patterned way of being, feeling rejected, mourning, blah, 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 feeling less than, feeling isolated. And it took me a long time to realize, why am I doing this? I don't even really like this person in this way. Because I say this for Sagittarius, I think it's time to assess your love life a little bit more. And if indeed you really want to be with somebody, or you're happy to move on to something different because it's really not aligned to what you want. We don't even realize how often as humans we respond to something out of a habit. The conscious thought, does this make me happy? Does this make me sad? Do I want this person to be sitting in my house at 11 o'clock at night when I want to go to bed? Are they aligned to my peace of mind, or are they a disruptive energy in some way? So I really think, Sagittarius, this is a little bit of a come to you-know-who Jesus moment, haha, in the respect that it's about looking and giving life to the idea that you will know love, but will you know it in the way that you truly need to know it, or will you settle? Because I think this is about 9 lives. I also think it's about walking away from something that doesn't actually feed you. All right, here we go for our Scorpios. Thank you, Jules. Welcome, Eurydice. Flamingo, good to see you. All right, here we go. Scorpio, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. And if you have a Scorpio stellium, then the question, what are you pretending not to know, is like, it's like your mission statement for this lifetime, okay? Because you came in here to transform all the lies that you tell yourself that hold you small, or that attach you to somebody else and your power comes from them. I've really, I have this whole different way of viewing astrology than I think anybody, because we talk about our rising sign, our moon, and our sun. Well, I think Pluto rules me, and I'm not a Scorpio, and Pluto's not my rising sign or my moon. But when I was born, Pluto was in the 6th house of Virgo, and it's literally transited every single one of my planets except my moon and Chiron over my entire life. I'm 62 years old. Every single planet conjunct. If that isn't a lifetime of transformation, I don't know what is. And thank God I did not know when I was younger. I would have been like, oh my God, I'm going to be miserable forever. I would have completely freaked out. Now I can see it from a little bit bigger perspective, and I can appreciate it versus, All right, here we go. Scorpio. Our first angel is Archangel Michael. The second is Layla. The third is Crystal. And the final is Azure. When we talk about the fixed signs, so I was thinking about this morning too, because if you have a square between 2 mutable signs, I don't think it's as intense as like a square between 2 fixed signs, because the fixed signs are going to battle in some respects. The mutable signs will be more willing to compromise. So Scorpio, I say this because you're a fixed sign, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. If indeed you want certain things in your life, you're going to have to be brave enough. And this is why I think Pluto and Venus coming together in Capricorn is so powerful right now, because Spirit is asking you, Scorpio, what are you pretending not to know? And do you have the courage to ask yourself the question? Because I don't think that Scorpio has the ability to live a superficial existence. So Archangel Michael and the trust card are coming together. And I want to offer it this way, because the trust is not about trusting your journey of life. It's about trusting your own courage to look deeper into the situation and ask yourself sort of a variety of questions. Am I used to feeling this way, and am I responding in a habit? If you're someone who's been abandoned as a child, then inadvertently, when you respond to rejection, it will feel like abandonment as well. And you're going to have to ask yourself, do I really feel abandoned right now? Or in some ways, is Spirit, Archangel Michael, protecting me, asking me to have the courage? Because here's the risk card to really look at what I want. So I have watched people who have gotten into relationships, and let's say I'll start with the woman's perspective, and she's been like, oh, I can't wait to get married and have a baby and have my 2.5 children and blah 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 blah. And then they meet a guy and he doesn't want kids, and all of a sudden they don't want kids. I don't know if I think that's true. So are you, Scorpio, really courageous enough and trusting of your own life path and talking to Spirit to risk what you really want, to not give up, to not give in, to not hide in the dark? Because Scorpio could hide in the dark. I don't want to look. I'm going to give them the power. Scorpio is the sign that comes after the sign of diplomacy. Scorpio, it rules death. Okay, so what happens when someone dies? I inherit their money. So there's this weird commingling of a lot of challenging energies, the sadness of death, the transformation and powerless of having somebody who has more money than me take care of me. Because Crystal is saying, Scorpio, have faith and hope. There's more on the horizon. And there's the movement card. But I got to go back over here and say, does Scorpio are you in some sort of post-traumatic stress syndrome where you've been chewed up and beaten up for so long that you don't trust? Because you're going to have the courage, because Spirit is saying your outcome will happen. But you got to focus in on what you want and not what happened before, and not that you're less than, and not that you want too much. And rather than trying to dumb down to fit yourself into some sort of energy that doesn't align with you, what if you just kind of sit neutral a little bit? I think there's a new experience happening for you. And I think what you really want, because this is the thing. When I look at my own personal life, okay, and I say I never married and never had children, oh boy, what a sad story that is. What I can tell you also is I could have been married, but I didn't marry someone because I couldn't live in an existence that didn't allow me to be the truth of who I am. And up until this moment, I haven't met a human being who could handle the strength and the I guess I'm slightly confrontational, but not in a fighting way, as much as I'm willing to look at my deep, dark truth. So I expect the people in my life to be as self-aware or willing to be self-aware. And that's what I think is going on with Scorpio. So as your ruling planet, Pluto, comes up and joins the planet of reception and my confidence, my value, my sense of story with myself, you're going to be called upon 3 times over the next few months. Everybody who's ruled by Venus, everybody who's ruled by Pluto is going to feel this. And again, I want to go back to the idea that if indeed you have a chart and Venus is too fast, but any of the slow moving planets, if they've been making big aspects, then your soul chose to lift the rug on whatever might be holding you small so that you could be all you can be. All right, let's go into Libra. All right, late born Libras, we have a square happening for you with Pluto and Venus as she becomes conjunct. So don't be afraid. It'll be for the same thing for Aries. It'll be an opposition for Cancer. But again, I think these are the questions that if you're brave enough to ask, you don't have to have the answer. You just have to be brave enough to ask the question. And Spirit will start to align with you to help you unravel I want to say unravel the lies. All right, here we go, Libra. Oop. Our first angel is Serena. The second is Layla. The third is Bridget. And the final is Francesca. Oop, what's that? The B card is coming up with Serena. The eagle is joining Layla. Bridget is being joined by the dog. And Francesca's being joined by the joy card. This is so interesting to me because I'm a Libra sun. And I just got done telling you guys I ordered a new computer, and I won't lie. It's like, oh, I'm good. I can pay for it. Everything's good. And then you order, you hit the easy button, and all of a sudden you're like, oh God. I'm very aware of my ability to receive right now. Serena is about not just financial abundance, but abundance in all ways. And then here we have the B card, which represents good luck. Represents victory, but it also represents my belief and my being energy as I endeavor something. So your serenity, your willingness to know that you are, look, this is not like you're being stowed, Libra. Oh, you're a good person, so you get good things happening to you. That's not spirit source energy doesn't care if you're a good person or a bad person in relation to the outside world. It is your willingness to be serene and understand that your energy puts a ripple effect out into the universe that then brings something back to you. So your serenity for your abundance, for your resources, for the money you need, the job you need, the relationship you want, whatever experience you want, your willingness to be serene and know that if it doesn't happen in the timing you want it to, then there's a reason for that, because we are working in a cooperative dynamic. So in order for you to get what you want, the other party, experience, situation must vibrationally align to you. So it's not all your fault sometimes if it doesn't happen right away. Because the opportunity and or the obstacle is spirit. This is the connection to spirit. And there's Layla saying, what do you want? And if indeed you want to be in a relationship, you can't just, Libra, say, oh, I want to be in a relationship. You have to understand you want something deeper than that. I want to be in a connected relationship. I want to be in a relationship where I appreciate that person and they appreciate me. I want to be in a relationship where we have fun together. It isn't just about two bodies banging together, which oftentimes happens for humans. So this is really about digging deeper and then realizing, oh, I'm just going to be relaxed because spirit will be inspiring the other party, the other situation, the other dynamic to bring in what I want. Because in the angel's advice is the card of love, loyalty, sincerity, and Bridget, look deeper. This Pluto-Venus conjunction in Capricorn is asking you, what are you pretending you don't know? Or, Libra is a sign of partnership, cooperation. Are you overly cooperative? And I know you don't necessarily want to fight, but are you standing for what you actually want? Because Francesca says, Libra, what do you visualize right now? It will come about. Negativity will block your progress. And there's the joy card. And the joy comes from, oh, I get it. I'm just going to relax. I'm just going to let spirit do the heavy lifting. And I'm not going to worry about my eggs dying. I'm not going to worry about my face getting old or my butt sagging or any of the crazy stuff the outside world will tell me about my viability to receive whatever I want. Because I know as a spiritual being, as an energetic being, that has nothing to do with anybody else but me and my ability to align to what I want and to stay focused on it. And if I can't focus on it, then maybe my opportunity is to find a neutral zone and not try to ping from one side to the other. Good, bad, dark, light, black, white, whatever. Because your ability to feel joy is honestly probably the biggest challenge the human has in general. I don't care where you are or where you sit on this planet. To actually trust happiness is probably the biggest energy there is. Okay. Well, Michael, thank you so much for joining us today. I have been told I look a bit like Sarah Connor throughout the years. And at one point I did get to sport that kind of body, but I'm older now, so I'm not quite so. I love that movie. I have to tell you, it was funny. I'm back in the, this was like the 80s and the early 90s when Terminator, 84, right, when it came out. And they had those laser pointers first came out. And I was living in Santa Monica, and I'd watched the movie. And then one night, I'm in my apartment, sitting on the couch, and all of a sudden I see the red beam come flying up through the window. I dropped to the floor and did some army crawl into my bedroom. I was like, what is that? And it was just somebody messing around outside. But anyway, it's funny how things, because of the movie. I don't know if you remember in the beginning of the movie how he goes looking for Sarah to kill her. Okay, anyway. Whoa. Oh, thank you, Giovanni. All right, here we go. Let's go on to our Virgos, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Our first angel for Virgo is Celeste. The second is Daniel. The third is Rosetta. And the final is Crystal. Oh, thank you, Paradiscipline. That's so sweet. You guys are so nice. Okay. I saw this thing on TikTok where this girl drives around. I think she's with another friend because they're filming, and she's talking to all sorts of people and just telling them, complimenting them over and over again. And yesterday morning, Lucky and I were at the market, and I go get my freaking Starbucks, which I really have to stop doing because I hate going in there. But anyway, and this man walked across the street and he told me how beautiful I looked. And I was just like, this is what I want to start to do. I want to start to seek out the best in people and then just say, wow, I love your jacket, or your hair looks nice today, or what a beautiful smile you have. And if each one of us start doing this, maybe this is what the Saturn-Uranus square is actually going to blow up. Maybe this is the great transformation that Venus has to offer us as she goes through and hangs out in Capricorn for such a long time. She doesn't really enjoy Capricorn that much because sometimes she feels like the rules aren't really very fun. So I think she's having a conversation with Pluto about let's change the rules a little bit. See if we can't shake it up. All right, Celeste, this is for Virgo. Rising moon, sun, and stelliums is being joined by the disruption card. Daniel's been joined by the Lady of the Lake. Rosetta's being joined by the protection card. And Crystal's being joined by the novice. This is very interesting because usually when I see Celeste, I think about a shift in the way I'm thinking. And I actually am kind of wondering if there aren't some Virgos, rising moon, sun, and stelliums that may be experiencing some disruptive shifts within the work environment or within your neighborhoods. And I say this because it feels almost like it's not happening to you personally, but happening within the environment. You may be in a company that's doing layoffs. It may feel disruptive because there are mandates that are being implemented, and some people are saying this isn't fair, but something is going on for in the Virgo energy. And if you think about Virgo represents work, it represents health, it represents the enslavement of a duty or an energy that I must perpetrate for the good of all versus the good of the self. Now, in my opportunity or my obstacle is Daniel, the angel of marriage and partnership. And there's the Lady of the Lake. And the Lady of the Lake is, sorry about my manicure, by the way, guys. I'm trying to let my nails breathe. Anyway, the Lady of the Lake is about a fight between my head and my emotional body. There's the sword of truth. She holds it she holds it delicately. She doesn't need to grab onto it. And I feel like that you may have been involved in a work situation for quite some time, or in an industry and it's shifting. You may have lived in a neighborhood for a while and things are shifting around there, because in the angel's advice is the protection card and the card of my children, the card of parenting and teaching. But I want to say this feels like your inner child. And I want to offer it this way, because there's layers of new beginnings for everybody. Okay. And oftentimes those layers of new beginning don't start with an actual physical move from one thing to another, but yet an energetic starting to think about things. Because when I go into the final position for Virgo, I see the unstable new beginning, and I see crystal saying, have faith and hope. And I feel in some ways that this is an opportunity. If I remember correctly, Virgo trines Capricorn. So there is a harmonious aspect to your sun, moon, rising, or stelliums that's going to be happening with this Venus Pluto conjunction. And even if it's not a tight trine, there's a conversation going on here. And Virgo, I think the disruption is really a doorway to your dreams, and really to decide if the work you're doing, the people you're working with, it could be that you love the work you're doing, but the people that you're working with just are riding you like a donkey, or you don't feel appreciated. But there's a reevaluation process for you that is really asking you, have I married myself to something that makes me feel purposeful, that makes me feel as if the service I am contributing is appreciated and valued. And if indeed you're determining that maybe it's not, or it's time to transition into a new thing, I think it isn't about making a big jump into trying to take an action as much as it's allowing for the reveal, because within that reveal, there may be dynamics that actually lead you to the next situation. Years ago, I worked for a company, and I didn't particularly like the genre that they did, but I was new to the county and it was a good job. But I met a gentleman, and he was doing consulting for the company. 2 or 3 years later, he started his own company, and it presented an opportunity for me to shift and to work with this gentleman. So there may be things going on that you don't realize that you can see. For instance, maybe one of your coworkers has left your company, and then a new opportunity will show up for Virgo. And you may have to, I feel like I have to be a little bit brave in assessing whether or not I want to make this change, make this move, because I'm kind of used to where I am and secure, but maybe not so happy. So let the reveal begin. All right, here we go. On to our Leos, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Hi, Martina. I saw you quickly. I didn't get to say hi. Hi, Astro Ascension. Hi, Dan. I think I said hi to you. Hi, Lisa. Whoops. Okay. Thank you for my Christmas tree. I've got a few more I've done a gold tree this year. Gold, and it looks really pretty to me. I like it. Okay. I'll tell you, I was feeling kind of cranky, honestly. And I was like, I don't know if I want to decorate. I wanted to decorate for Christmas in like September. And then, by the time December showed up, I was like, I don't know. And then I made myself. I'm like, no, just go get the stuff out. Just go, And as I started to do it, I saw my focus shift. I saw myself as I do things to create beauty for me, then that ripples out The phone starts to ring. Other things start to line up. So sometimes, that little extra push to align yourself into an energy, even if you don't want to, is just what you need to kind of move the whole thing a little bit. All right. Leo, our first angel is Xana, the angel of protection. The second is Yvonne, our angel of vulnerability. The third is Chantal, the angel of romance. And the final is Mystique, saying to keep charging ahead. Welcome, Kuko. Thank you for joining. All right, Leo. Rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Xana is being joined by the owl. Yvonne is being joined by the eagle. Chantal is being joined by the wind fairy. And Mystique is being joined by the king. It's interesting to me when I look at this, because the first thing I think when I look at this is that Leo, there's this, there's an interesting feeling of, most people think of Leo as, Leo's just confident and willing to put themselves out there and kind of sometimes, a big energy. And I get just the opposite from this right now. I get this feeling of Leo like a little lion cub, I just need my mommy. I need someone to help me feel stronger for some reason. I feel this strong sense of, and I don't feel it's a confidence thing. It just feels as if I've been kind of taken a 1-2 punch. And as a result of that, I feel a little shell shocked and I can't quite decide which direction to go, because Xana's the angel of protection. And usually that's emotional protection. And then there's the owl. Bad news, good news, wisdom, deception, dark and light, day and night. So I want to offer it this way for my Leos. If you're feeling vulnerable right now, if you're feeling kind of in between and maybe even a little bit of a melancholy energy, then you know what? It's okay. It is okay, because Spirit has you. And this is the angel of vulnerability, and there's the eagle. And I feel in some ways that this is really an okay time for you to feel and call upon Spirit to show you their support. Because when I see Chantal and I see the wind fairy, I just don't feel that much love. I feel like I'm missing feeling loved and appreciated in my life. And I don't think this has to do with just intimate love. It may, sometimes Leos rule children, right? So parenting, and sometimes our kids don't know that we are, not all knowing Oz. There's just a strange feeling of Leo almost feeling a little like Marty McFly, kind of fading in and out of the picture of your own life. And it's like, wait, no. Because when I go to the king, I don't think this is about a man. I think this is about justice. I think it's about fairness. And there's Mystique saying to keep charging ahead. So I want to offer it this way. When I look at this spread this week, I feel a little bit as if Leo's sun feels like there's clouds in the air, there's a little bit of something blocking. But at the same time, I feel like if you surrender to the clouds, then Spirit can start to show you the rainbows that your sun creates through clouds, the color that it creates. And for some reason, I'm also feeling that Leo is not feeling appreciated or validated or I don't know. It's almost, I don't want to say taken for granted, but I kind of feel a little bit of a taken for granted energy. And I don't think people are doing it on purpose. It could just be mom, dad. And you're like, okay, I'm a human being. I need, So be gentle with yourself. This week may bring up some frustration for you, I guess. And I think it's frustration because I feel like you're being pummeled with something and it's all about the other party. And you're like, whoa, slow your roll. I got to take care of me too. So take care of you. And I guess what I want to say on some level is also for Leo, if you can rise above it, not to villainize the other party or make them bad, because they're not meaning to do it. It feels like it's almost this little thing that you've kind of created a habit for another person or another situation, and you're a little sick of your own habit. So, all right, let's go on to our Cancers, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. What are you doing over there, dog? Lucky. Hey. My dog has been so funny lately. He's like, you're my human and I am your boss. And I think he's forgotten as he's aged that he's not the boss. And then I hear him laugh in my head, like, right. Okay, here we go. All right. Cancer, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Here we go. Our first angel is Adriana. The second is Serafina. The third is Isabella. And the final is Shanti. So Cancer, and if you're a late born Cancer, you are going to feel an opposition of this Pluto Venus square. I'm sorry, Venus conjunction. It's going to be an opposition to at least your sun or your moon. If it's your rising sign, same thing. So I really feel as if your ability to, and we'll see what the second deck has to say, but your ability to take care of self right now. So Adriana says she's leading you towards the answers to your prayers, and we have the protection card joining it. Serafina is about happy families, and there's the focus card. Isabella is saying, yes, the timing is right, and then there's the burden card. And Shanti is being joined by the king. The first thing I want to say for Cancer is that sometimes, God bless the little crabs, you kind of go like this. So sometimes it's hard for you to really imagine how things are going to work out when your feelings are like almost like a little bit of a tidal wave, because you have to understand that if Pluto is opposing you right now, it's not doing it to tank you. It's doing it to strengthen you and to ask you, what are you pretending not to know? Because you're protected, and you're not protected because of physical harm. I think it's more about the protection of your own. It feels like a self-perception, almost like one of those things where, well, I have to give to them. I have to give to them. If I don't give to them, they won't eat, they won't blah, blah, blah. And in some ways, it's actually like the opposite. If you would just say, you know what? I have to put up a healthy boundary in some ways, because when I look at this in the opportunity, the obstacle, the focus is on my family, but somehow it's too much focus. It might be from fear. It might be from trepidation. If you're a parent and you have young children, there's a lot going on right now that is highlighting children, and they are being subjected to things that we've seen it. My child, my choice. So I want to offer right now your focus to connect with spirit. And it may be hard to do right now, but I want to offer that the idea that there's always a certain balance. So if the world is out of balance, why can't you, your people, your family, your vibration be part of the opposite experience that helps that transformation? Okay? Because there's the angel of peace, and now we have the king. And I, again, don't think this is about a man, but about justice, about balance. And the peace comes from my willingness to trust on some level that a certain amount of disruption offers me peace. A certain amount of fear offers me strength. It offers me courage. It offers me experiences where I have triumphed versus fallen under. So for my Cancers right now, I think it's super important for you to focus in on that your family are not protected because you've put, bricks and mortar up or you put fences up, but you're protected because you're representing thriving during challenging times. You're representing a perception with spirit that lets you know that your challenges are not here to throw you to the side of the road or to tank you, but rather to empower you. So I really feel like worry is a form of prayer that doesn't serve Cancer. So Lisa, and I want to offer this because as being the mother of 3 water signs, and while you're protective of them, the best way you can protect them is to trust them and know that spirit also has their vibration is what is almost like a moat, like a protective gate, and the vibration of trust that everything has a purpose, and it's meant for me to see how powerful I am. That's Pluto over and over again. I'm powerful beyond my own experiences. I'm powerful because my perception aligns to a bigger picture of who and what I can be. That's why we're here, to experience that. And I think we're meant to experience the veil of it before the empowerment of it, because it's not fun. If you came in and you knew you were as powerful as you were and you just walked around, it would be boring. All right, here we go. Gemini, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Oh, I absolutely agree with her, Juan. I am much more my rising sign than I am my Libra sun. My Aries rising, people can see it coming a mile away. I've surrendered to it. And now I embrace it. All right, here we go, Gemini. Our first angel is Fiona. The second is Bridget. The third is Opal. And the final is Archangel Gabriel. This week, your ruling planet Mercury is going to have a square with Neptune. I think it's on the 6th, which is tomorrow. This could make for a little bit of murky, Neptune and its challenging vibrations kind of makes you feel a little underwater, not quite sure what's real, what's not. So when I look at this, the first thing I want to say is take a pause. Because if you have an intuition about something, then I believe that spirit will either inspire you through something you hear, see, read, think, you know how Gemini is, that will confirm your intuition so you can take action on an inner knowing, not an outer suggestion. Stelliums are 4 or more planets in one sign or house. That's a strict way of thinking of it. Some astrologers say 3 planets. If they are the outer planets, Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, those are generational. So we're looking more for the personal planets, Venus, Mercury, Mars, the sun, the moon, Saturn, Jupiter. Bye, Eurydice. Enjoy your week. All right, Gemini. Fiona's being joined by the Risk card. Bridget's being joined by the Wealth card. Opal's being joined by the Letting Go card. And the Earth Fairy is joining Archangel Gabriel. So, when you're a Gemini, you're ruled by things that actually happen in this planet, okay? Like everyday activities, your teammates, your workmates. It's all about community. It's all about, Mercury's always, visiting. It just shoots with the sun, goes around the zodiac. So now that you've asked God and the angels for help, be open to receiving. Because on some level, being a Gemini, you're going to think you have to run around the zodiac and make something happen. And the Risk card is sitting in this inspired energy of reception. This is a huge, huge theme coming up with the Venus-Pluto conjunction. It's going to happen 3 times in Capricorn. She's creeping up on Pluto right now. I think it's 25 degrees. Then she'll scoot back. then she'll come back. And it's all very fun because in the opportunity, the obstacle is Bridget asking you to look deeper into what really makes you very happy. This is harmonious wealth. This is not about money. And now that you've asked God and angels for help in having some sort of relief from whatever your own everyday activities are, your own everyday hamster wheel of what is required of you or expected of you, and that you might be sick of, to be honest. Because when I look at Opal, I don't see your children, Gemini. I see the inner child. And I see this letting go card is moving away from some fear. And sometimes this is the beauty of getting older. When we're younger, we get scared of things like, oh, I won't have any friends. I won't this, I won't that. And you're older, you're like, I can't do that anymore. I can't care about that anymore. It's just too much. And I feel like this is really about Gemini taking a moment to sit back and use this Venus-Pluto conjunction so that you can find the value in yourself and start putting yourself as a priority. Because Archangel Gabriel, which would represent in some ways Mercury, communications, and now it's time to ground yourself in you, in what you want for you. And if indeed you can't make a physical move, I always will coach people and advise them to start with their intuitive body, with their belief, their perception body, their thought process. So as you take the idea of risking, Spirit, this would make me happy. This would make me feel better. I'd like some relief in this area. I'd like to feel blah, 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 blah. Then that will start to kick in the law of attraction. And then part of your job as a Gemini is not to get too far back and forth. Because as you allow for this, I go, it won't happen. It will happen. Won't happen. Bad, good, bad, good. Now I got to come in the middle, because I think Spirit's going to start to give you experiences that will then give you a stronger platform to stand on, to trust as you move forward. And that'll help you align your thoughts. All right, here we go. On to our Tauruses. Rising moon, sun, and stelliums. That's me. Moon, Taurus moon. Here we go. Excuse me. Our first angel is Rochelle. The second is Ray. The third is Xana. And the final is Akasha. So this conjunction between Pluto and Venus will trine Taurus by nature. So that's a good thing. But at the same time, Pluto takes no prisoners. So let's just call a spade, right? Because Pluto is going to ask you to dig deep into your heart. Pluto is, I really like these more challenging, quote unquote, planets, because to me, the way I see them, they're not challenging if I'm willing to be authentic, if I'm willing not to say what I think other people will approve of, but really say what's true to me. Because Taurus, Pluto has, I don't know, like at first I thought it was 600-mile heart. Maybe it's bigger than that, but it is this huge ice heart. Something rumbles underneath the planet, within the interior of the planet, that then comes out and forms ice. And it's in this huge, like not a fake heart, like a huge heart. So I think what Pluto's saying is it's not about being cold, but maybe sometimes we have to have a cold heart to others' approval so that we can honor our own. Because Taurus, as you honor and follow the guidance of your heart, there will be movement. And with Uranus transiting your house, and has been since 2017, end of the year, will go on for a few more years. I believe Uranus is retrograde right now because it's been floating on my moon, but it's been liberating me. It's been asking me deeper questions about what I want and what's true to me. And that's what's happening right now for you. Because as you connect with Spirit, I absolutely believe this is about meditation And I believe that your power comes from meditation and your ability to connect with spirit. Now, let me offer you this idea. I'm going to tell you a quick story. Last week, I was having a lot of, I've got Saturn squaring my moon as well, because blah, blah, blah. We know all about that. And I said to spirit, I don't know if I'm fully, what. Sometimes, the connection between you and I feels so flimsy. I really want something tangible. Let me just give you something concrete. And within a few days, a very disruptive thing happened with one of my clients. She called and booked, then she missed a flight. Then, this appointment didn't work out. So we had to reschedule like 3 times. Once we finally got together, the connection kept going back and forth and really weird. And when I went to call her back, when the connection would break, it would call another person who the dead guy upstairs was calling this guy. Anyway, I don't know if I'm telling the story very clearly, but my point is this, is I called upon spirit to ask them to give me a tangible experience, and they gave it to me. And I think for Taurus, you need a tangible experience with spirit. And now is a time to risk it a little bit by saying, I want a tangible material experience that lets me know that I'm protected. Because right now, Uranus has been messing with my sense of self, and Venus rules me. So she's up there in that house of Capricorn restricting my money, and I'm feeling a little freaky right now. So I need spirit to give me now. And you know what? My Aries rising doesn't mind, because I think you're going to learn something. I really want to say that. I think you're going to learn something, and it's going to give you the courage to start from a new platform. And that platform is your heart. That platform is saying, you know what? I'm tired of feeling insecure. What I do know as a Taurus is every time I get to the edge, I pull myself off. I don't fall over the other side. So when am I going to start realizing that something is protecting me more than I realize? And I think it's not just spirit, but my heart protects me as well. All right, here we go. Final sign, Aries, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. I must say I'm really tired of Mars and Scorpio. This has just created a lot of nonsense for my dog. I don't know what his stars are, but he's had a terrible rash. All right, here we go. Steak is life. All right, Aries, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. You know what, Jules? I want to offer this. Don't try to compartmentalize them. Integrate the two of them, because your old self knows some stuff that's really valuable, and your new self is ready to let go of the crap your old self wouldn't. So there we go. Aries, our first angel is Crystal in the foundational position. Daniel, the angel of marriage. Then we have Adriana, and we have Sonia. Sending some love to you, Dan. Cherries are really good for gout. Cherry juice, cherries in general. Stay away from the dairy. Try not to drink any alcohol, and that'll go away. Oh, here we go. Crystal is being joined by the King. Daniel's being joined by the Grail Knight. The Wind Fairy is joining Adriana. And Sonia is being joined by the Frog. When I look at this spread, the first thing I think of is that Capricorn, the Pluto square. I'm an Aries rising, 26 degrees. Pluto's at 25 degrees. I am a 23.55 degree Libra sun, and I'm a 27 degree Libra Mars. So this Pluto square has been hitting me on and off, back and forth as it's gone retrograde over and over and over again. And as I said earlier, Pluto's been transiting my whole life, my chart. So I started to ask myself, I want Pluto to be my friend. And now I'm thinking, okay, so I'm Mars ruled, and I could get really pissed off very easily about things, sometimes, especially injustice. My Libra gets all kind of cranky. But I want to offer this because I started to think that there's a justice sometimes to injustice. And so right now, I feel like the king is really representing the justice inside of injustice. And Crystal's saying have faith and hope because there's more on the horizon. Because Daniel, to me, while he's the angel of partnerships and marriage in the opportunity or the obstacle, he also represents sort of a history of relationships. And there's the Grail Knight, which can represent illusion, romance, and seeking the sacred. And for some Aries, there may be, because we've got this square between Mercury and Neptune, there may be some illusions that come up in regards to old relationships. But I don't think they're illusions that are from the other person. I think there may be a little bit of illusions about you hoping somebody's going to change, and they're not. Just the way you're not going to change too much. So I want to offer it this way, because in the angel's advice, Adriana is leading you to a more peaceful way of thinking, a more peaceful way of understanding how sometimes what appears to be imbalance brings in balance. It offers choice. And that's where I think the frog becomes an opportunity to leap off of an old situation. And Spirit, you've been asking for this for a long time. So let me offer it this way. When I really started to delve, I've always sort of dabbled in astrology, but when I started to delve into it very deeply, I think it was like 5 years ago now, before I got on Lotta's channel, I started to ask these questions that if I believe that I'm a soul that chooses to have a physical experience and that this natal chart is a snapshot of the syllabus or the agenda or the intention that my soul had for this lifetime, why am I acting like it's happening to me? Why aren't I acting like I am working in tandem with this? I'm working in cooperation with the idea that my challenges are not just challenges, they're illuminating opportunities. And in doing so, I can put something in its rightful place. So this is the big question that Pluto and Venus are asking me right now. What are you pretending to know about feeling isolated or feeling lonely? What are you pretending you don't know? When I ask that authentically, is that sometimes I'm more in relationships that I don't even want to be in. Do you do that, Aries? Sometimes. Relationships with people that frustrate you and you go, if they would just be this way, then I'd be happy. But they're not that way. Who's not happy? You're not. So maybe it's an opportunity for you to shift. So that's what I'm going to say. I think this is a really pivotal month coming up. I don't think that there's any quiet week, to be honest with you. I think that this is going to be a time of evaluating what makes us happy and where we have inadvertently given away our happiness to feel material security and given away some of our true freedoms because somewhere we're afraid of something down the line happening. And now we're pulling back into a place where I want to live in this moment because this moment is really the platform for all the moments to come. All right, guys. That's it for me for this week. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm on Lotta's channel every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. Pacific time with my two blessings, Small Wildflowers and Juan. Thank you so much again for all your help and support. And I'll see you all next week on the 12th, I believe it will be. And Mercury will be moving into Capricorn to join the party with Venus and Pluto. All right, guys. Love you all. Peace out. Be nice to yourself this week and every week.